Prairies. Right now, the winds out of the southwest at 27, but they're gusting as high as 60. Warm temperatures, though, and sunshine all afternoon as we get set to kick it off. The Renegades and the Roughriders at Taylor Field. Once again, Chris and Chris.
Here's Joe Pow, a former Saskatchewan Rough Rider quarterback, looking for his second straight road win. Of course, they were victorious 2 weeks ago at McMahon Stadium in Calgary, and Danny Barrett's team has been tough at Taylor Field this year. 5 wins, 1 loss, and they have their eyes on a home playoff date for the first time since 1988.
Well, Danny Barrett also said, you know what, at home, for whatever reason, we don't seem to make as many mental mistakes as we do on the road, and so he says, you know, that's indicative of our 5-1 record at home, and he's hoping for big things because basically you want to end up at first or you want to end up at second so you can host a playoff game.
Interesting that they use a road approach at home. The team in a hotel the night before, and that seems to have worked for them. It didn't work for you.
I never liked it. I never will. And you know, hey, but different strokes for different folks.
Lawrence Tynes kicks it off the wind at his back, and he forces Corey Holmes 5 yards deep, and Holmes will put down a knee, and it will be an 80-yard single to start this game. And the wind, as Mark mentioned, will be a factor. Nealon Green, his lowest percentage game of the year was against the Ottawa Renegades in week number 1. And he will come out to be at the throttle of this Saskatchewan Rough Rider offense. Green was sacked 6 times last week. That was a problem against Edmonton.
Well, they have to shore up that offensive line, but again, it's a combination of Nealon Green trying to make things happen by holding on to the football a little longer than he normally would.
So they'll start at the 35 after the single point on the opening kickoff. And the pass is cleared to Rocky Henry. And with a flag down, Henry kicks it outside and gets up near the 50-yard line.
Nice play selection by Nealon Green. Just a little quick hitch pass, get those big offensive linemen, the Hoggies, out there in front. And you got to get some blocking, but we'll have to see what happens after they discuss this penalty. And
there is no infraction on the play. First down.
Dave Ewell in charge, so no penalty means a 14-yard gain will stand for Saskatchewan.
The referee just trying to get his quota in there, throwing the flag for a little practice run. Get the arms, the old shoulder joint loosened up.
Well, they were watching last night's game between BC and Winnipeg.
Oh, that was god-awful for penalties.
So a first down for the Rough Riders working against the wind. And the give is to Cedric Shaw, and he'll cross midfield into Ottawa territory. Shaw with just 9 yards rushing last week on 6 carries against Edmonton.
Well, they have to run. That's what their forte is. And you got Green, Chris Zarka, a big fullback. Cedric Shaw just carried the ball last time. Quincy Jackson and Roberson getting a started slot back. Armstrong and Rocky Henry at the wide receiver and a big offensive line. Moore, Gifford, and Lazio at the guards. Mikowski and Donald Heaven at the left tackle position.
7 for Shaw, 2nd and 3. The rushing game will be amplified with the wind. Nealon Green, the keeper, ran into Kelly Wiltshire, but he should have a first down.
Well, this is what you got to do. I mean, you know that they got enough guys in the box, and right now these guys are in the box. Wayne, Haywood at the tackle, John Frank, Barreau at the defensive end. They got to stay inside. Asbel Wiltshire, John Grace at the linebacking position. And a good secondary. Carter Vaughn, Roundtree, McCullough getting the start, and Ricky Bell.
And there will be a measurement. It'll be interesting to see how effective that running game is. It is a first down against Ottawa because they were sharp last week, holding Calgary to 62 yards on the ground.
They really were. They did a good job against the run. They've shorted up. They do a lot of gap control, try and mix it up right there, confuse the offensive lineman. But I think Nealon Green's doing the right thing. Put it between the tackles with the running backs, then pull it a couple times and take it to the outside, the perimeter of the football field. I mean, the last time he played Ottawa, he was the leading rusher with 116 yards.
Good initial drive for Saskatchewan. Remember, last week, just 5 first downs in the opening 3 quarters at Commonwealth Stadium. First down, Zarka. And Zarka threw a hole for about 3 into the teeth of a good front 7 for the Renegades.
Well, you can see the rushing yards, Green, Shaw, Zarka, the big man, having a career year with 349 yards and 3 touchdowns coming in. And I tell you what, I like this kid, boy. He gets in there, and you know, the key to give it is to give this kid the ball early in the football game, because he really likes to dish it out. He knows he's going to get hit, but he'll throw a flipper on you just as well.
former Regina Ram, enjoying his best year in the Canadian Football League. 2nd and 7. Green rolling to the right side. Over the middle, a completion down to the 32-yard line, and there's Dylan Ching, who may see more time today with the injury to Jason French.
Well, late flag thrown also, Chris. Saskatchewan pointing against Ottawa. Little extracurricular activity after the play. Referee's going to get together and discuss it, but nice job of dragging across the middle by Dylan Ching and rolling out by Nealon Green. Don't keep him in the pocket. Attack the perimeter. Does a nice job.
Major foul. Unnecessary roughness. Saskatchewan 57. It was after the play, first down.
Well, that's just Andrew Moore, the big man, getting down there. And you know what they're taught is every offensive lineman, get downfield, help your receivers. Receivers like nothing better than to see the big hogs running down 20 yards, laying somebody on their back.
So 3 consecutive first downs for Saskatchewan, and yet the penalty backs them to the Ottawa 48. Nealon Green rushed for over 100 yards in the first meeting against the Renegades. Hands the ball off. Cedric Shaw straight ahead, and he pounds down to the 41. Keaton Cromartie with the tackle.
Well, they're just going to pound the ball at that defensive front of the Ottawa. I mean, basically, it's one-on-one. Get a helmet on a helmet. Try and create some movement. Create a seam, and they do a nice job. The biggest thing is if you're going to be Ottawa and you're only going to put 3 defensive linemen on that line of scrimmage and make your linebackers make the play, they got to be a little tighter to the line of scrimmage as well, because they're making contact 5 yards after the ball carrier gets the football.
7th play of the opening drive for Saskatchewan. It's 2nd and 3. And again, Zarka. And Zarka carries a would-be tackler for a first down. John Grace with the initial stop, but Zarka powered his way to move the chain.
Well, Zarka really did. He chainsawed right through those guys. Jerome Haywood, the big tack number 9, is going to get him. But look at that. Look at him. Look at the legs. And that's something you just don't teach. But I tell you, if you want to be a good back, you got to keep the legs churning. Refuse to be brought down by that initial tackler. Nice job by Chris Zarka.
6-year man takes it down to the 36. And now Cedric Shaw as they stay on the ground. And a couple of hard-fought yards there for Shaw. Grace again in on the tackle. Troy Asbell's the middle linebacker for the Renegades, a former Rough Rider.
Oh, he does a nice job, but it's just a quick draw. Give it to him, put him in his pouch, let him go and find something right there. Does a nice job of picking up a couple yards, but again, they're running the football. They're staying with the plan, and this will, in Saskatchewan's case, they like to run to set up the pass.
Rough Riders 3 for 3 in second down conversions. That was a big problem spot last week. Here's Green, and that ball knocked down, but the flags fly. Ricky Bell in too tight coverage against Derek Armstrong.
Well, a nice job of first initially getting a pressure as we work. Armstrong just working against Bell. A little hand placement right there and a little tug on the back of the jersey, and I think that's what it is. I mean, as soon as he makes his cut to the inside of the football field,
Ottawa 25.
Ricky Bell's got his hands all over him.
Bell victimized last week in overtime by Kamau Peterson for the winning touchdown in the Calgary overtime win. You saw that shot in the opening. All the frustration on Joe Paupau's face of a season where too many of those.
Last week, they shouldn't even had that happen. They got a face masking call in the last minute of the game, which allowed Calgary to kick the field goal to tie the football game to send it into overtime.
Ball at the 25. It's first down Saskatchewan. Rush on, and Green down. Back at the 35-yard line as Marvin Thomas surged through to make the sack.
Well, Marvin Thomas gets the sack, but it's the initial rush from the inside that forces Nealon Green to the outside. It pushes him right into Thomas. He's going to set back up there, and he's got forced out of the way right there, and he comes over and stumbles on the turf. But Marvin Thomas, as you say, nice job initially of getting the pressure to Clinton Wayne, number 90, forcing Nealon to go to the outside.
It's a loss of 10. 2nd and 20. Flag down. Looked like Ottawa jumped offside. Green to the 31. But it should be a free down for Saskatchewan.
Well, This is a good job of Nealon Green. What he's going to see is 3 defensive
Offside.
linemen.
Ottawa number 90. Second down repeated.
And all he's going to do is just the top of your screen. Right there, you're just going to see he's just going to jump. But they've only got 3 guys now. 1, 2, 3. Once he sees that, he audibles and he can check off and he'll run the quarterback draw. Smart job of play selection by Nealon Green.
Joe Paupau's team gave up an opening drive touchdown against Calgary last week. Trying to dig in here. 2nd and 15. Nealon Green looking for Quincy Jackson. The ball hung up and drops incomplete, and wind certainly a factor on that pass.
Well, the wind really caught that football and really hung it up, as you said, and but it also allowed Quincy Jackson to try and get under it. The more it hangs up, the better opportunity the receiver has a chance to adjust to it. He almost comes up and just hits the turf and gets trapped. And, you know, I'm very surprised in that play with the safety. Sean Gallant was in that play. There was nobody in the middle of the field, what they call a cover 0. And usually when you see that, you see the receiver heading to the middle of the football field.
Well, the wind really played havoc with the pregame warm-up for the kickers. McCallum from 37 yards out, and he splits the uprights. And that could be a key today because the wind will make it a tough one for the place kickers.
To rider bench, please.
6.5 minutes into the first quarter here at Taylor Field, and a good opening drive by Saskatchewan. And here was the warm-up, and you can see both kickers spent a little extra time working against this tricky wind.
Well, the wind is blowing in 2 directions. Where they were kicking off, it was going one way, by the goalpost was blowing the other. So they're really trying to figure out where they got to aim. Do they end at the inside post, the outside post, trying to play the wind?
Gallup did the job and now kicks off. And it will be Archie Turner on the bounce, and he brought it up close to the 40 before he's drilled back. And for the first time today, Chuck Clements will lead the Ottawa Renegades offense out onto the field. It's his 4th start in a row for Ottawa.
You know, one of the things I'd like to see Chuck Clements do today, even though it is his 4th start, is take a little bit more control and start stretching the defenses. He seems to be content a lot of times, Chris, to go with the short, easy routes. And, you know, that's good for completion stats, but it really doesn't attack the defense.
They have to get off to a better start. Last week, first half, 78 net yards of offense. Josh Ronick, he ran into Ray Jacobs, bounced ahead for a yard or 2. But part of the problem last week, Chris, was their inability to establish a running game. And they go to Ronick right off.
Well, they gave up on it last week. That's the thing. He only ran it 6 times. There's Clemens, Mark Nora, Josh Ronick, Cummings and Williams and the slot back. Reggie Jones are looking for big things for him today. Jimmy Oliver to Speedster the other side. Dittman and Abu Mekrek at tackle. Burns, St. Germain, and Carl Coulter, the 13-year vet at center.
Just a yard for Ronick. So it's 2nd and 9 Renegades. 4 receivers left side. Pass tip, knocked down. Intended for Reggie Jones. And a quick 2-and-out. Deshante Peoples comes up with a knockdown.
Well, we talked to Shante, and he's excited about playing that. He says, you know what, I want to get in. He has got a knack for knocking down footballs. We saw him knock down 2 last week against Edmonton. Ricky Ray tried to throw little screen passes. He disrupted that, got his paw up there, and right at it again with another knockdown.
Working against Seth Dittman, and that's the 6th knockdown of the season for the former All-Star. Glenn Harper in, a former Saskatchewan draft choice. Getting set to kick to Corey Holmes. And that is 26. Denny Montana first down, but Holmes got outside. Flag on the play as Corey Holmes takes off. All the way for the touchdown, but all for naught.
Well, this is coming back. I mean, they called the illegal block on Saskatchewan later. They could have called it an initial point of catch by Holmes as well. As one of the blocking team grabbed the jersey right in front and didn't get the flag thrown on, but
so an 83-yard return by Holmes negated by a penalty here in the opening quarter. Well, Patrick Thibault, the culprit on the play that negates the Corey Holmes touchdown run.
Well, it was a good call right at the point of attack, and it's just going to happen right there. You can see right in there, this big circle. They're going to call it every time.
So it backs Nealon Green and the Roughriders up at their 15-yard line. And off Cedric Shaw. Donovan Carter with the first contact, but Shaw spins ahead for 8. Jerome Haywood with the tackle.
A nice job of pulling the backside. Just going to get number 60. You see him come right in your screen right there. He's going to do the kick-out block, and that allows Cedric Shaw to read the hole and get up there and pick up good yardage on the first down. And Chris, both of these teams, they were worried about one thing, that was getting good first down production.
That was certainly the message from Danny Barrett yesterday. And so it's 2nd and 2. Inside again, the flags fly as Zarka has the necessary yardage to move the chains, pending the marker.
A simple dive right up the middle, right behind the center and 2 guards. Let the big man get some movement.
Offside. Ottawa 99. First down.
But Jerome Haywood there coaching on the 1 yard, trying to get underneath that offensive line, trying to get any advantage he can, and unfortunately getting called for the offside. So Saskatchewan will take the first down the easy way.
Ottawa ranked 8th against the run, and we mentioned that Saskatchewan with the best running attack in the league 7 games this year. The Roughriders have rushed for over 150 yards. And they stay on the ground.
Stop for the Renegades.
3 more yards. There's Clinton Wayne to make the tackle.
Well, Clinton Wayne just going to come across. He knows they're going to run the football, so stay low. You can't come up in that pass stance. You got to stay low, keep your shoulder pads down. Does a nice job of fighting off the block of Rob Lazio, who's playing very well this year. Getting under there, beat him on that play and making the play. But again, still picking up positive yards.
Second-year man picked up in the expansion draft from Calgary. 2 for Cedric Shaw, 2nd and 8. And Green to the air. And a pass looking for Roberson, incomplete. And the Renegades defense stiffens.
Now trying to get a little pressure. You can see he's just working right there. He's going to come in, shake and bake. Henry's trying to sit down, come back to the football, goes to the outside. The ball's just thrown a little past the outstretched hands of Rocky Henry. And of course you can see Nealon right there, not very happy with it. He's expecting him to keep coming, not stopping.
Another case of 2 receivers in the same area. Wasn't sure if that was to Roberson or Henry.
Well, what they got to really do is when they get off, this is where you take your opportunities when you come off the field. If you got a punt, get that offense together and get that straightened out with your receivers. Make sure you're all on the same page.
So Paul McCallum punting the ball away. Gerald Vaughn was putting pressure on Jimmy Oliver. Across midfield, and Oliver finally pulled down at the Saskatchewan 53-yard line. Just a 28-yard punt, 7 on the return.
Back at Taylor Field in Regina, the home team with a 3-1 Ottawa. Our Western Road Swing, the CFL on CBC, ends next week as we go east to Toronto, where the resurgent Argos play the red-hot BC Lions, winners of 6 of their last 7 games, including that 38-28 win last night over Winnipeg.
So again, those 2 teams tied. Saskatchewan with a win today would leapfrog both in the tight West Division. Here's Roddick, and again met behind the line of scrimmage. And the Saskatchewan's defense, Green is fired up early.
Well, they're all over, and they get the linebackers playing tight to the line of scrimmage, taking away the run, the pass stick, White at the tackle, Shantae People, Ray Jacobs at the defensive end position, a good linebacking crew, Smith, Hunt, who may be a candidate for Rookie of the Year, and Mitchell at the linebackers, and secondary, Mallet, Walker Bush, McKella, and Morgan at the cornerback.
Reggie Hunt, 9 tackles last week, and he is always active, 2nd and long, and Clements will heat on, throws the ball away, incomplete. As the pressure turned up, and another 2 and out for the Ottawa offense.
Well, this is interesting. I mean, we've seen Shante Peebles knock down a pass right. This nice thing. It's just on the left of your screen. Going to come around. Nice arm bar. Does a nice job of beating Seth Dittman, taking Chuck Clemens down. And we had an interesting talk with Shante, and he said, you know what? I've only got 1 sack. I'm used to getting 12 a year. He said, but watch tomorrow. He says, you know what? If they could just flush the quarterback or make him to hold on to the ball a little longer, I'll get some stats. Well, so far, Chris, pretty good opening quarter for number 58, Shante.
12 sacks the last 2 years, 68 in his career, but just 1 so far this season. An angled punt. Holmes picks it up at the 10. Fans here at Taylor Field wanted to see a no yards flag, and none was thrown. A 46-yard punt, 9 on the return. But 2 2-and-outs for the Ottawa offense with the win in the first quarter.
Well, that's the thing, and the fact is, Saskatchewan basically owning the clock and moving it against the wind and running the ball effectively.
Let's join Mark Lee.
Thanks, Chris. On the Riders bench with Eddie Davis, the defensive back for the Riders, who broke his arm last week in Calgary. First of all, Eddie, how is the arm? What's your status?
Well, the arm's feeling pretty good right now. I mean, they put a plate in my arm, so I don't have to put a cast on anything. But right now, I'm feeling okay.
Danny Barrett considers you a real team leader. What role are you playing out of uniform today?
Right now, I'm trying to play the coach. I'm trying to be the on-field coach right now. Just calm those guys down and just try to see things out there that they may not be able to see out there on the field.
Well, Eddie, a terrific season you're having so far. Tell us about the plan that you guys stay in a hotel the night before every home game. It seems to be working with that 5-1 home record so far.
Really, I mean, that's really nothing new. I mean, guys do it in the NFL all the time. So, I mean, we just go in and make sure everybody's in at the hotel. And we just kind of sit around and play cards and just have a nice, relaxing night.
Well, Eddie, terrific season. Get well soon.
All right, thanks a lot.
Guys?
And there was the scene just prior to the game. Davis trying to stay part of it. The team leader, a defensive captain. Zarka got 6 on the first down play, and now 2nd and 4, and the pass delivered to Brian Roberson for a first down, 11 yards. Green to the newcomer. Roberson playing in just his second game.
This is exactly what you want to do. You know, when you run the football as effectively as Saskatchewan does, the linebackers tend to cheat to the line of scrimmage. That allows your slot backs, this case, Brian Roberson, to run these little crossing routes in the middle of the field because the linebackers are up to the line of scrimmage. He's behind. Nice job of Nealon to get to the outside. Throws the ball on a rope. Nice catch. And again, another first down.
So Nealon Green 3 for 5. 3 first down tosses. A little trouble with that shotgun, but slings it to Cedric Shaw. Tripped up at the 40-yard line.
Pass was complete to Cedric Shaw.
4 on that pickup by Shaw.
Donovan Carter.
Well, Nealon Green really improvises on this play. It's going to be a shovel pass. He's going to try it, but he has a little problem with the snap. He wants to pump it. But great presence of mind to bring it down and kind of underarm chuck it to Cedric Shaw, who picks it up and tries to do it. But number 2, Donovan Carter, one of the big stickers at the safety position, up tight to the line of scrimmage on a play, bringing him down.
2nd and 6, just over a minute to go in the opening quarter. Nealon Green has a completion. Derek Armstrong on that slanting pattern up near midfield. 14 for the deep threat of the Roughriders.
And that's nice because what happens is Derek Armstrong is going to come inside. He's got coverage by the Sam linebacker. You see John Grace, number 7, is supposed to flatten out to the flats of the football field, to the outsides of the football field. Does a nice job of getting over there, but he works right in between the quarterback, George McCullough, and the linebacker, John Grace, and makes a nice crack.
8 first downs in the opening quarter for Saskatchewan. And now back to the ground game. Cedric Shaw. And a hard-fought yard as Kelly Wiltshire close things up.
Making the tackle for the Renegades is Kelly Wiltshire.
Well, one of the things we don't talk about is see Kelly Wiltshire waving over to the bench, looking for a substitution, maybe an equipment substitution, something to change. But one of the things that happens is the offensive line of Saskatchewan now can play games with their set. They've been running the ball so much they can give a hard stance. The defensive lineman will look at this stance and think it's a run, and they won't rush the passer. That allows Nealon, when he does throw the ball or play action, to have more time to throw the football. Little games within the game.
Wiltshire to the bench, so the former Carlton Raven Jason Kralt comes in. This should be the final play of the opening quarter. 2nd and 9 for the Roughriders. Green rolls left side, cuts back, and makes take off. And now throws downfield, almost picked off. As Ricky Bell got a hand on it. Good pursuit by that Ottawa front four.
Well, great speed going after him. You gotta wonder about Nealon's hamstring, because he really didn't take it to the farthest part of that football field.
You are watching the Canadian Football League, brought to you by America One.
Third meeting between Ottawa and Saskatchewan, but the first time it has not been an all-rider affair. Keeping our eye on Kelly Wiltshire to make sure no injury there.
I mean, look at it. You don't have to be Ray Charles to see this. Look at this. This is going to kill you right here. It's never good when you got a lot of zeros. You got no first downs, no yards passing, -2 rushing. I mean, and only 2 minutes. I mean, that's indicative, obviously, time of possession, Chris, when you don't have anything. And that's got to be the big concern right now. They've got nothing working offensively, and this defense is on the football field way too long. 12 minutes in the first quarter. Come on, that works out to 48 minutes, if I'm doing my math correctly. So I stop my feet here to count.
Joe Pow says he will go to his reliever quicker today, if necessary. High snap. McCallum pulling it down. And here's Archie Turner, who had a good return game last week against the Calgary Stampeders up to the 20-yard line. Chris Svetkovich with the tackle after a 44-yard punt. Well, these two coaches have great admiration for each other.
We've had the opportunity to work together. He's coached me before. We worked side by side, in the trenches before. And he's like a brother in a sense. There's a lot of love and admiration for himself and his family. But we understand this is a business, and we both have to go out and do the job that's necessary to lead our team on to victory.
Joe Pow was the offensive coordinator in BC when Danny Barrett was the quarterback there. There was a penalty on the Ottawa return, and the ball back at the 5-yard line. So Chuck Clements in a deep hole, still looking for the Renegades' first down. Little fake, and then a sidearm toss to Ronick, who gets it up to the 16-yard line. First down for the Renegades, an 11-yard pickup. Jason Mallett with the stop.
Well, you're going to get a lot of pressure like Saskatchewan's doing to Ottawa. What you got to do is run a little screen, quick screen pass. Just throw it out there. Sift the running back, Josh Ronick, out into the flat. Get him the football quickly, because the Riders are all over you. And let him do the rest. He does a nice job picking up their initial first down of the game early in the second quarter.
It's a little unorthodox toss by Clements.
Hey, it doesn't matter how it works as long as it works.
Calgary really turned the heat up on the young quarterback last week. Play action, and an out complete to Jimmy Oliver. Watched by Ladolfius McCallum, but close to another first down.
Well, nice job of just working out Oliver, working on against this man, just taking it out and getting outside on the sideline, little out, knowing where the first down markers are. Jimmy Oliver's stats, 5'10", 190, fourth year out of Texas Christian.
16 catches in the last 3 weeks for Oliver, who comes into the game 11th in CFL receiving.
He'd like to get a touchdown. Hasn't had a touchdown in 3 weeks. He'd like to end that drought right away.
Clements, short drop, looked inside. Nigel Williams on his fingertips.
Well, this is the thing that's been plaguing this offense all the time. See, now we're in a second and long situation. This is the situation they don't like to be in. But again, it's a situation of hitting the receiver. Yeah, albeit he has to reach back and touch the football with his hand. But you got to catch it. I know they're difficult catches, but you're professionals. You're paid to catch the football. He tries to make a circus catch and come back with a hand. But, boy, I tell you what, they've got to work this out right now. If you're going to run a slanting pattern like that, I'm sure Nigel Williams would like to have that ball in front of him rather than behind him.
Second and 10. Another quick hitter. Here's Damon Hodge, shakes one tackle. Hodge with a first down and a lot more. Up to the 44-yard line before Omar Morgan finally brings him down.
Well, Damon Hodges in his second game as a Rough Rider receiver, or Renegades. I'm back in the old time. Just a hitch. Nice job, but a good initial breaking of the tackle. That's what it is. He breaks the first tackle. That's what we're talking about. Doing something once you got the football. Does a nice job of making something positive. The tackle should be made right at the point of reception. He breaks the tackle and turns it into something positive.
18 yards. That's the initial catch of Hodges' CFL career. Here's the shovel pass inside. Nothing doing. Scott Schultz, the Moose Jaw native, calling him down, but there is a penalty marker on the play.
Well, Scott Schultz reading that shovel pass, and they're going to call holding anyway on Ottawa.
Holding, Ottawa 67. First down repeated.
Mike Abumekra.
Tackle for a loss. You take the loss.
Now the center of your screen is just going to pull him right there. He's just there. He pulls him right down.
4-yard line.
You got to give, I know it's a penalty, but one of the things that people don't know watching this game right now is Abumekra, who I affectionately call Boo Boo. He's playing with 3 herniated discs in his back. That's like sticking 3 knives in your back and saying, okay, go on the football field and play and keep those knives in your... That's amazing.
First and 20 as Saskatchewan accepted the penalty, and there's another drop ball.
Well, and these are breakers. I mean, I know it's not legal to start hitting your receivers, but I'm telling you what, the quarterback, Chuck Clemens, mild-mannered that he is, he's going to have to start taking his receivers to the sideline and start doing head slaps. You can't. Look at this. He comes across. He's in the middle. He's open. He's got 3 yards. The ball is there. He's got his hands on it, and he drops it. Don't worry about where you're going to go. Worry about catching the football. Then worry about where you're going to go.
Reggie Jones, the former Saskatchewan Rough Rider, highly touted signing by the Renegades, but really has been ineffective in his early time here in Ottawa. Out in the flat, here's Oliver. And he can't shake the
Pass is complete to Jimmy Oliver.
corner, Omar Morgan, who makes the tackle, a 9-yard pickup, but they'll be short of a first down.
Well, short of first down, but if there's any positives, it's the fact that they drove the football from underneath their goalposts into better field position for Glenn Harper to punt. Nice job of planting your feet by Omar Morgan, the cornerback for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, staying there and keeping the numbers, watching the numbers of the receiver, Jimmy Oliver, as he tries to do that shake and bake and brings him down.
Glenn Harper, line drive punt. And now McCallum, who had a 20-yard punt return average coming into the game, brings it back to the 45. Just a 30-yard punt by Harper here at Windy.
La Liga, Spain's internationally renowned soccer league, comes to you exclusively on Fox Sports World. La Liga features a collection of elite soccer greats, such as Zidane, Ronaldo, Riquelme, Roberto Carlos, Figo, and Raúl. Real Madrid and FC Barcelona are only 2 of the many great teams that play here on Fox Sports World, the home of world-class soccer. Spectacular goals, tough players, fiery competitors make it one of the top leagues around. Be part of the excitement. Catch all the action of Deutsche Bundesliga this Saturday on Fox Sports World.
We're 4 minutes into the second quarter here at Taylor Field. Saskatchewan with a 3-1 lead over the Renegades. And the Rough Riders take over at their own 45-yard line. Roberson in motion. Green short drop, and there's Quincy Jackson up at midfield. Donovan Carter drives him back, but he'll be close to a Rough Rider first down.
And a nice job of Quincy Jackson working against 23, Alfonso Roundtree. He can go inside or outside. 23 at the bottom of your screen anticipates Quincy Jackson going to the sideline. He bites on the move. Quincy Jackson turns him around, comes back inside. A nice job of getting the ball to him by Nealon Green.
Second down, less than a yard. And Nealon Green into Renegade territory. Been impressed with Saskatchewan early here, Chris, and I thought this was a game that might be a little bit of a minefield for Danny Barrett, considering they are in this tough Western race, and they have 5 games left with tough Western competition, so it'll be easy to look ahead, but so far they've been all business in this first half.
You're right on it. But I tell you, one of the things, if you're an Ottawa fan, if you're looking for something positive, is the fact that as much as Saskatchewan's owned the football this part of the football game, they've only got 3 points to show for it. As we look at Saskatchewan's remaining games, all Western opponents, Winnipeg, BC, and Edmonton.
And this time they get to Nealon Green all the way back at the 45. Keaton Cromartie, and yesterday Danny Barrett said, well, they got Cromartie in because he can run and he might be able to track Nealon Green down.
Great speed of getting off the initial block and just coming out, working against Mikowski, the right tackle, not stopping his feet when he gets to the outside. He doesn't allow Nealon Green to make any kind of athletic move to get to the outside by him. Keeps him in the pocket, seals him in that tackle box. Nice job of bringing him down for the sack.
So the second sack of quarterback Green so far today. 2nd and 20. Green over the middle. Nice catch. And Roberson steps out at the 48.
It's a nice job of reading the defense by the receiver, Brian Roberson. You notice the guy that's only played twice, but he finds the hole in the defense. He's going to come into the middle. He finds that they're all sitting in a zone coverage. You got your linebackers in depth. He's working against. You see Kelly Wiltshire, number 1, back into the football game. Good to see that. Finds the opening. Nice catch again. But a nice throw by Nealon Green. I mean, who's taken a lot of heat as being only known as a runner, averaging over 60% on his passing. He's been throwing the ball effectively this game, Chris.
Here's Paul McCallum to attempt a 56-yarder. Wind at his back. He had a 54-yarder against Ottawa in overtime in the first game. And he knows this, his longest of the year. As Saskatchewan expands its lead.
Ugh, what's that smell? Oh, it's you, Hamilton. You stink! See, now, Toronto is a major city. We have the Argos. We're winners. You have the Ticats. You're losers. I'm from Hamilton. I'm a steel worker. I like football.
CFL, the rivalry lives on.
How many O's are there in loser?
Back in Regina, Saskatchewan with a 6-1 lead here in the second quarter. I'm on the Ottawa Renegades bench, and I just listened in to the receivers as they talk with Chuck Nussmeier. The Ottawa quarterback, Chuck Thomas, is having a lot of trouble right now going into the wind, so they're having to change and shorten up their playlist. They say that the Saskatchewan defensive backs are settling down low, not respecting the deep ball, so they're going to have to go short again. Chris.
Mark Lee infiltrating the Renegade camp. There's Doug Nussmeier, who makes those play calls. First down, they'll start at the 35. And that pass at the feet of Reggie Jones incomplete. I was just going to back up, Chris, because Brian Roberson made a catch that Nigel Williams didn't earlier in this series, and it set up the field goal opportunity, the field position for
exactly. You're right on. I mean, what you're doing is you're taking a play, it's a passing play, you're coming across, you're doing your job, and as a result of doing your job, good things happen, you get points. If you're not doing your job or you're not concentrating and you're dropping balls or you're not looking the ball in, you're looking where you want to be ahead of catching a football, it drives stall and you're basically on the bench.
And just about everybody in that Ottawa side has been guilty, and there's another drop. That's 2 for Williams.
Well, you know what? I think what they got to do is settle down as an offense. Ottawa is having a lot of problems right now. They're saying that Dan Crowley can't throw deep. He's having a problem with the wind. Well, that's part of the football game. I'm sure he's played in windy conditions before. Just overthrows that. But this is a ball that can't be caught. We kind of went on. We kind of got on Nigel last time. We see the pressure. Ray Jacobs coming around on the left side. But you know what? If it hits your hand, and I hate to go back in nostalgia, you know, with Tommy Joe Coffey. But remember his line? If you can touch it with your hand, you should be able to catch it. And hey, too many drops.
Williams with only 2 catches in the last 3 weeks. Here's Holmes, and he is wrapped up before he got to the 40-yard line. Good downfield coverage after a 38-yard punt into the wind. started to warm up. But it's a familiar refrain here, the drop passes by Ottawa receivers.
We talked about the fact that playmakers have got to start making plays. This is it. You've got to make these plays. This is what you're getting paid for. I mean, are these guys backing in to get their paychecks? Because I tell you right now, it's not pretty right now. And you know, the saving grace is they're only down 6-1.
Saskatchewan starts near their own 40, and Elon Green will air it out, looking deep, and tight coverage on Derek Armstrong.
That's into Derek Armstrong. Covering on the play, George McCullough.
George McCullough step for step with the deep threat of the Roughriders.
One of the things when you're throwing with the football or with the wind, your ball sometime will get caught up in the wind and carry even further, but it's a nice job. And right at the end of that, you can see, I mean, it's a nice job, as you say, of George McCullough running step by step with the intended receiver. McCullough, the 5-year vet, played 15 games with San Francisco last year in the NFL.
2nd and 10. 4 receivers right side for the Roughriders. Green gunned it over the middle off the fingertips of Quincy Jackson.
Well, Quincy Jackson's just going to run a little post inside. Working against Alfonso Roundtree. Does a nice job of getting inside now. Tries to bring the football down. Just coming inside. Ball thrown a little high. Gets a hand on it. But again, it's one of those things, Chris, I really believe that as long as the ball's in front of you, you can touch it, you have an opportunity to catch that football. And I know we've been harping on Ottawa, but I think that's one of the cases right there where Quincy Jackson could have came up with that catch.
Archie Turner at his 30. And Turner up to the 40-yard line after the 42-yard punt. And a 12-yard return as we join Mark.
Chris, big show in prime time tonight. It's Tom Hanks and Matt Damon starring in Steven Spielberg's World War II epic Saving Private Ryan. That's tonight on CBC television. Check your local listings.
Renegades staying with Chuck Clements. Better field position. Just 3 first downs for the Renegades on offense. And here's Ronick. Off the left side. Not much there. Maybe a yard. Josh Ronick, 115 yards rushing 2 weeks ago against Calgary, but not much since.
He only had 2 yards last week, but his defense, they only carried the ball 6 times. You know, I'm a little surprised right now because I think that a lot of times an offense will try and run the football to take the pressure off the quarterback from throwing it, and we know that Ottawa can run a double tight end, bring in 2 more big linemen, and that might help the running game right now. We may see that employed.
So 2nd and 9. Here comes the rush. Clements, nearly picked by Davin Bush. And if he'd squeezed that, it might have been 6 the other way.
Now Davin Bush anticipating that throw outside to the flat, but it all starts with pressure. Good pressure coming. They brought the blitz. Reggie Hunt coming on blitz, forced him to throw the football a little early, and Damon Hodge anticipating the football, but not as quickly as Davin Bush, who almost steps in front of this and would have took it all the way back to the house for a score had he got his hands on that one.
Harper, the end of the wind, so not much game time, but good coverage.
Chris, one of the things that's really interesting to watch as this football game develops is the fact that Saskatchewan has had wonderful field position each time the offense has taken the football field. And that's because Ottawa has failed to move the football as a result of having them to kick 2 and outs all the time. I mean, it just allows Saskatchewan's offense to have more attempts running the football, doing things, and they're always starting off in good field position.
Stephen Glenn is the injured Renegade, the long snapper of Ottawa, getting attention, so we'll take a time. Ottawa native, who was with the Bombers last year in the Grey Cup final. Stephen Glenn makes his way to the sidelines. Looks like he'll be okay.
Garnered a lot of interest down south of the border because of his lawn snapping abilities. I know that Bob Cameron and Troy Westwood were sad to see him change allegiances.
5:05 remaining, first half. And a high snap over Nealon Green. Here's Grace, and Green just has to pounce on the football as Grace was blitzing on the play. Speaking of long snaps.
Well, I'll tell you, Andrew Moore puts a lot of pepper on this snap. Straight up over Nealon Green, and boy, when that ball starts bouncing on the turf, you never know which way it's going to bounce. So Nealon Green very fortunate to come up with the football. Would have been a big opportunity for Ottawa to recover that one.
Well, they've held their own special teams. The defense playing solid for the Renegades.
Second down and 27.
Trying to buy some time for the offense to get on track. 2nd and 27. And so Green has to look deep, looking for Armstrong. And the ball falls incomplete. And once again, George McCullough, stride for stride.
Well, that's just absolutely great coverage by George McCullough. Step for step. Just staying with Armstrong all the way down the football field. He watches the receiver. Now the receiver will start to give you indication the ball is coming. His eyes will light up. The arms will start to raise. You know, the defender anticipates the ball is coming his way. But look at the step for step. Keeping the left hand out, checking the receiver, knowing where he is at all times in the football field. Nice job by McCullough.
Archie Turner, better field position for Ottawa. And Turner outside, and now into Saskatchewan territory, but a late flag. You can hear that Rough Rider bench calling for a holding penalty earlier. And finally, something was called out there.
Well, there's an old rule on punt returns. If you think you're going to get called, don't do it. Stay away from
illegal block. Ottawa 23. First down.
It's another scenario where, you know, you just shake your head because of the fact is they got great opportunity to get their best field position of the football game, and then they go and do something right there, and you can see right there he's basically just blocking from behind. Now, don't touch the guy. He couldn't have made the play anyway. That's the thing. You've got to make smart decisions on the football field, and that was a smart decision, and it ends up costing Ottawa great field position.
Ottawa, the most penalized team in the league, and instead of starting on the Saskatchewan side of half, they're backed up at their own 36. Chuck Clements trying to get things kick-started. Stands in, delivers for Oliver. No, incomplete. Jason Mallett had a hand on it, and then on the tip, it looked like Jabir Walker might have come down with the ball, but it's waved off.
And Jason Mallett, the safety, who has played the previous couple games with a club on his hand, took the club off because he said, you know what, I'll be able to come up with a better grab on a football. No excuse here, Jason. I tell you what, you will not sleep tonight. Look at that. He anticipates the throw. He reads the quarterback. We see Dan Crowley is going to enter the game. But I tell you what, this is a great job by the safety coming over from his midfielder position to make a play on the football.
So in mid-drive, if you will, Dan Crowley off the bench. Joe Paupow didn't like that last pass. Nigel Williams squeezes that. He'll be short of a first down, however. So Dan Crowley in relief of Chuck Clements. And Joe Paupow told us yesterday that maybe Crowley, as you mentioned, is better off the bench, kind of like John Hufnagel as a relief pitcher. So Crowley, one completion, but it's a punting situation. Breezy day on the prairie, a 6-1 Saskatchewan lead, just over 3 minutes remaining in the first half. And another punt for the Renegades. Glenn Harper's been a busy man in the first half. This will be his 6th punt. Corey Holmes anxious to get his hands on the ball.
Well, as you said, the special teams have done their job, the defense has done its job, but the offense just can't get on track. We'll have to see what happens the next time they get their hands on the football.
Another good snap by Glenn. Harper's punt hangs up. No yards will be the call as Holmes is taken down at the 45, a 28-yard Harper boot. Well, a lot more production for Saskatchewan, but only 2 field goals to show for Nealon Green's efforts so far.
Well, we talked about the fact that there's a little saving grace in the score being only 6-1, but again, penalties, and now this time Danny Montana getting called for the no yards infractions. Granted, it's tough to play that 5-yard zone when the ball's hung up in the wind.
For the Riders, ball at the 54.
So they start on the Ottawa side of midfield. And Cedric Shaw as close to 7.
Cedric Shaw.
One of the things that's going to happen, Chris, it's already starting to happen as we round out the second quarter here, is that they're just on the field. The Ottawa defense is on the field. They're starting to catch the blocks. See right there, number 92, Morrow, he's catching the block of the offensive lineman right now. They're on the field way too long. They've got to get that offense generated. Give these guys on the defense a rest.
Second and 3. And Green steps up. Nealon Green, first down. And he slides forward to the 35. Still a little concerned about that hamstring, and he's been a little more conservative in his running in recent weeks.
Well, Danny Barrett said he'd never admit it to you or me, but he feels that the hamstring's only about 90%. That's because he doesn't do certain things that are very characteristic of Nealon Green. Now, if you look at this, you'd never have any indication that the hamstring might not be 100%, but when we see him attack the sidelines a lot of times, we'll see him pull up and try and bring it back inside, and that's something that's very uncharacteristic for Nealon.
13 yards for Nealon Green. Trouble with that shotgun snap. A flag down. Green going outside and throwing the ball away.
Well, I see Jerome Haywood, number 99 from Ottawa, feeling that he was pulled down. And I got a feeling it's going to be a, you see that shoulder pad, jersey all pulled up over.
Dave Ewell wants to confer with an Ottawa captain, and Wiltshire getting instructions from the bench.
Holding, Saskatchewan 57. First down repeated.
Well, Andrew Moore again, that's the second holding caller of the day, and just in the middle of the screen. He's right in there right now, and all he's going to do is just going to get him. And as he runs this now, he pulls him down. You see how he buries him there? He gives him a little push. It's a little technique the offensive linemen like to use, but the problem is that the line judge is about 5 yards in front of where you throw that guy. And 99.9% of the time, almost like a paternity suit, they're going to throw that flag.
First and 20. Green again calls his own number, but swarm there. Hayward, check that. Marvin Thomas and Michael Boireau there, and a loss of 4. So they're pushing Saskatchewan back.
Boy, you got to give the, look at this, look at the effort. Marvin Thomas, we've talked about him, he's got a sack already today. Boireau coming on the other side. They just keep working. The Ottawa defense is earning his paycheck today, but they're on the field too long. I still think no matter how good your defense is, you just can't keep them on this long because fatigue sets in and then they make a mental mistake at the crucial time.
Second and 22. Green dumped it off. Shaw, a good catch, but nowhere to go with Wiltshire bearing down. And that will set up another 50-plus Paul McCallum field goal attempt. But when you talk to Joe Paopao, he almost gets emotional talking about his defense because they have played so hard for him this year.
The hat's off to the defense. Kelly Wiltshire, he talked about him, number 1. He's sitting back in his zone in this play, comes up, wraps him up. He talked about him last week. Reginbald from Calgary basically buried him. He's on the ground, and yet there's Wiltshire's arm still trying to make the tackle as the running back goes by. He says that is the effort of a championship team. Unfortunately, the defense is of that caliber. Special teams isn't bad, but the offense, well, I'll tell you what, they got to retool that.
Paul McCallum this time from 52 yards out. He's 3 for 3 from 37, 56, and 52 as the Roughriders expand their lead to 9-1. And the Renegades' lone point off the opening kickoff.
Well, you talked about field position. The fact that Saskatchewan still always has good field position. And when you have us win with as strong gusts as we have today, and it allows McCallum, who has a strong leg anyway, to kick, as you say, 250-plus yarders, that's points on the board.
Let's join Mark.
Chris, I just talked to Jason Mallett about his botched interception on the last series. He says the ball hit him right on his left hand where he's still wearing a small cast underneath a glove to protect a broken wrist, but he said, you make sure my mom knows I'm not making any excuses. Now that's a Carlton Raven.
Oh, here comes the propaganda from the former Raven quarterback. The best run by Josh Ronick today. A hard-fought 5 before Jackie Mitchell pulls him down.
For the Renegades.
Well, they're in that situation right now where they've got to still stay with the running game as Dan Crowley hands him off the ball. He's just going to take it, cut back. Just a little shovel pass right underneath the rush and Shante Peoples. But again, look at the leg drive. The little man, the wrestler from South Dakota State, refuses to be brought down. And good body leverage to get the good yardage.
Number 7 rusher in the CFL, Josh Ronick. Second down, Crowley to the air. And a pass incomplete. Damon Hodge, the intended receiver.
Well, Damon Hodge is the intended receiver. Damon Hodge also realizes as he catches his football, or attempts, we'll put on this, to catch this football, he's about to get hit. I think this is a case of alligator arms. He almost just says, whoa, you got to catch that football. Son, you're going to get hit anyway. Make the catch. Take a look at Josh Ronick. You know he can carry the football, but look at him. He's in there. He's just all over the place. He's not going to let anybody get around. He's going to get some marks on that helmet. Tough guy, Josh Ronick.
37 seconds left in this first half. Harper, good punt. That'll drive Holmes back over his head and inside the 20. At the 16, they'll take the 5-yard no yards and enjoy that 54-yard punt by Glenn Harper. And again, back to Mark.
24 seconds from the half. Here's what's coming up on our CFL on CBC halftime show. The big man is Dodge Pro Tips with Mr. Coleman from the Blue Bombers, and on Canadian Football Heroes, head coach Danny Barrett and his quarterbacks. This is a story about an old quarterback who is relying on his old instincts to nurture a team that has seen a series of quarterbacks on a carousel this year. Chris?
And did we mention that Mark Lee was a former Carleton quarterback?
You couldn't have told that by the way he was talking, could you?
So 24 seconds for the Roughriders to work with here. On the ground, Cedric Shaw. Up to the 28, 6 on the play.
You said Cedric Shaw with only 9 yards last week against Edmonton and only 29 yards in the first game against Ottawa in the first game of the season. Having a lot more success this afternoon running the football. Boy, you got to give credit to that big offensive line. The right side, Razio Mikowski, moving the defenders out of the way. Allowing Cedric Shaw to pick up 7 yards on the first down.
Roughriders will tell you that Gene Mikowski's had a solid year at right tackle. And Shaw stopped up immediately. John Frank on the final play. And some of the Rough Rider fans not happy with the production in the first half as we join Mark.
Thanks, Chris. Here's Danny Barrett. Danny, we chatted at this point last week against Edmonton. You had a 15-1 lead. Might you remind your team about that and not losing that lead this game?
Not at all, because that was last week. It's a totally different team, totally different atmosphere. We're at home, and we played very well at home, so no need to even bring up stuff like that.
How is the wind affecting the game plan in this game?
Well, obviously, it's a factor. You can only do certain things, but I think our guys done a great job up front as far as with the run game. You have to be able to run the football in conditions like this, and our guys seem to be doing a good job.
Danny, thanks for your time and good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Danny Barrett and the Rough Riders with a 9-1 lead over Ottawa after one half of play at Taylor Field in Regina. The Bomber himself, who's standing by right now with Chris.
Well, we can confirm that game tapes of the first half have not been dispatched to the Hall of Fame in Hamilton. Usually we talk highlights in this segment. Do you have any for us?
I had a hard time. I had to run next door to watch. There's another game going across the street, see if I can find something there. It's been really slow.
Not very good, but you got to come up with something. So,
well, there are some positives. I mean, one of the things, obviously, this McCallum, a 56-yard field goal. Paul McCallum, who had 3 today.
I do want to say we watched him in the warm-up, Chris, and he was really struggling, but he turns it on in the game, and 2 from over 50.
Well, and then, of course, you got the Saskatchewan defense who's really turned it up a notch, not allowing the Ottawa offense to generate anything. I mean, Shante Peoples been a thorn in the side of Clements, and now Crawley, who's playing, that time with another knockdown pass.
But this familiar refrain, we talked about it off the top of the show. Reggie Jones could have gone a long way had he squeezed that, and Nigel Williams with a couple of drops too.
Well, these are balls that hit your hand, and these are absolutely devastating to the morale, to any type of motivation you might have on your offense, and it's just not good. I mean, look at the stats right here. 3 first downs. That was all in one drive. They had 3 first downs in a row, and other than that, they've done nothing. Zero, zilch, nada the first half.
And really, the score flatters Ottawa. Saskatchewan could have had a lot more. A good first opening drive, but only a 9-1 lead, and it probably can only get better here at Taylor Field as we get set for the second half between the Renegades and Roughriders. A year ago, they were 2-7 at home at Taylor Field. Saskatchewan looking for their 6th victory on home turf this year. As we get set for the second half, but first, here's Mark Lee.
Joe, your team's down 9-1 to start this second half, but once again, your defense has been solid, but I can't imagine how frustrated you are watching again so many drop passes.
Well, you know, we got 30 minutes to play football, and you know, I can't do anything about that right now, Mark. We just got to, you know, execute in our passing game a little bit better, and you know, go make some plays, and we'll be fine.
Is Dan Crowley going to start for you at quarterback in the second half?
Yes, he will.
Tell me about your change.
Just, you know, we need to shake it up. You know, we need to just to see what can give us there, and you know what, we're happy with the move, and we'll see what he can do.
Joe, thanks for your time. Good luck in the second half.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks a lot, Joe.
Well, the hook was made when Clements threw what should have been an interception. Immediately, Dan Crowley went in, and I don't think really there's any debate that that was the right time.
Like a dead battery, sometimes you got to bring out the cables and jump start it. I'll tell you, I think Crowley might just be the one. I mean, he's a little bit more emotional in the huddle. One of the things that I really got to notice, or that I do notice, Chris, is I wish I saw a little bit more emotion or excitement from
Fire.
Chuck. Yeah, fire. You know, Chuck Clements, he loves to throw a short pass. He doesn't go deep, and then of course saying that, you know, I'm having trouble against the wind throwing the football. That's an admission of defeat. You should never let your teammates hear that.
Short kick hanging in the wind, up for grabs. Jason Kroll wasn't looking for it, and it has been covered by Saskatchewan. Cedric Shaw, and it looked like the Renegades had a good chance at recovering that kick.
Well, we take a look at the game notes. We talked about the playmakers having to make play, and 3 drop passes, only 3 first downs. They've just got to do a better job there. The defense have done a good job. They've allowed 75 yards rushing. Hey, they're going against the #1 team, Saskatchewan, 160 yards a game. Not bad.
Roughriders start at the 48, wind at their backs. Henry picks it up, and off he goes. Rocky Henry pushed out at the Ottawa 48. 14-yard pickup as we check the Canadian Tire game notes for the Roughriders.
Well, GNP, we talked about that, you know, giving Nealon some protection, only allowed 2 sacks. I mean, we talked about the positives. Ottawa has played well on defense. On defense for Saskatchewan, eliminate the mental mistakes. They've only had 3 penalties for 35 yards, couple holding penalties, nothing in a crucial situation.
First down, Cedric Shaw, right side. Counting down to the 42. Troy Asbell, the former Rough Rider, in on the tackle.
Well, I mean, it's just an off-tackle play by on the right side. Lazio Mikowski and center Andrew Moore. But look at that hole. I mean, my God. I mean, even you, Chris, being the athlete that you are, could make it through that hole.
Let's not exaggerate.
Nice job by that offensive line, seriously.
Well, they dominated the first half, and they have just an 8-point lead, and it looks like they are going straight to work to try to put a little more distance early between themselves and the Renegades, and operating efficiently. A completion to Quincy Jackson for 6 more.
Now you see Nealon Green's passing chart. 8 for 14 in the first half. The red dots are incomplete. But look how he's going. Those are 30 yards. We also know that he attempted a couple over 50 yards. So he's gone deep, but he's always going to the flats. He likes to work. A lot of his completions, 10 to 15-yard range, but keeping drives alive, and he's running the ball a lot. So, I mean, this is exactly the formula for success for Saskatchewan. Run first, pass second.
First down, Green again. Quick hitter, this time incomplete, intended once again for Quincy Jackson. Nealon Green will have a new receiver in his lineup next week. The Roughriders acquiring Corey Grant from Montreal for future considerations.
You know, you can never have enough quality Canadian depth, and that's one of the things I think has really improved overall on the Saskatchewan team is the depth at all positions. We talked about in the opening, Chris, the secondary ravaged by injuries with Eddie Davis going down, Omar Evans going down, and they replace them. They've got guys that are sticking around, learning the system and being able to fit right in without missing a beat.
Maybe a comment on the Ottawa defense and the wind conditions, but the longest completion by Saskatchewan is 16 yards so far. And here's Cedric Shaw taking that release foul pass. Gerald Vaughn with the stop, but it's another first down.
Well, when you're a quarterback with this type of athletic ability and you have the ability to take off with the football, nothing's there. Don't force anything. Bring it down. Now what? Everybody comes in to go after Nealon. He just swings it out to Cedric Shaw. Nice job and great vision peripherally on the field of finding that open receiver.
So the Roughriders, as they did the first time they had the football in the opening half, are marching. First down, back to Shaw on the ground. Over the 20, down to the 19. 3 for Shaw.
Another off-tackle play for Cedric Shaw, this time to the left side behind Donald Heaven and Gifford. Just going to go in there, cut it up. And again, always picking up something positive. 4 to 5 yards is a good initial first down pickup. It puts you in second and medium, allows you to utilize a lot more of your play selections.
50 yards on 11 carries for the running back of the Roughriders, who's approaching 700 yards on the season. Flag down, Green wide open, Roberson, touchdown! And the flag appears to be offside. Renegades, the touchdown by Roberson will stand.
Well, Mike Barreau is the guy that's going to get charged with the offside, but they get caught with the safety peeking. Sean Gallant in this place taken up, doing a little cheating and doesn't see the receiver. Brian Roberson comes from behind, pass him, and a nice job of recognition by the quarterback Nealon Green, getting the ball quickly, and just like that, we got our first touchdown of the day.
That's the 4th catch of the game for Roberson, who's been a valuable addition with the absence of Jason French, and Saskatchewan ups their lead early in the 3rd quarter. Well, against Winnipeg in his debut, he had 2 receptions. Brian Roberson has 4 and a touchdown in his 2nd CFL game.
Right here's the offside. That's where it's going to, that's the offside. That's Burrow coming inside. Now I want you to freeze it right here. Here's your safety right here. He's tight to the line. This allows Roberson to go to behind. Nobody there, nobody home. Nice job of recognition by Nealon Green. Sees the opening, the safety's up. Quick throw, quick pass, quick catch, quick touchdown.
Their first drive of the first half, 10 plays for a field goal. In the second half, 7 plays for a touchdown. And now the kickoff going right through off the toe of Paul McCallum.
All right, come on now.
95-yard kickoff.
Y'all got a job to do. Go do it.
You see the pressure there. Recognizes the safety up. You can see 22 in the middle of your screen. Gerald Vaughn, 39, trying to come over, but not before Brian Roberson has taken it into the end zone.
Yeah, CBC. We got some more for you, baby. You know what I'm saying? Back in the States.
7 plays, 62 yards. Capped by Roberson, who had a nice chat with Joe Paopao yesterday. Not sure Paopao would be on such friendly terms right now the way he's playing. There's a hit pass to Jimmy Oliver, trying to use his speed to get a first down. And a 10-yard pickup by the top receiver in the Renegades attack.
Well, nice job of Darren Crowley getting the ball out quickly. That's the whole key. Steps up to line of scrimmage, comes back. Nice little pick block by Damon Hodge and allows Oliver to get to the outside, uses his speed and picks up a first down. And that's something positive. That's something to build on.
Just want to emphasize that's not a single point on the kickoff that goes through the end zone. So it remains 16-1. Dan Crowley at the helm here in the second half. We'll look in for Reggie Jones. Joe Paopao believes that Jones is going to break out soon.
Well, that was a nice job of Crowley getting the ball quickly and with some force on it. A little energy behind that pass. As you see Shante Peoples, he has been plagued with groin injuries. You see a little cut block protection utilized by that offensive line, brings him down. Shante a little shaken up. And you see the trainer out there, Ivan, trying to talk to him and see how he's doing, see if he can stay. He's going to have to go out. Not sure, but I think he's going to come out for a couple.
Has to come out for 3.
I think the more to do with the helmet placement on that one. Just so you can see right there the cut block. He gets the helmet between the legs. And remember, in football, they don't wear the protective cut like those sissies in hockey. I'm just kidding. I love hockey players too.
So people will sit down for a few plays, and Dan Crowley will look at 2nd and 5 out of the shotgun. High snap. Nice job to pull it down and throw it deep. And Oliver comes back to the football and makes the catch.
Well, the biggest gain of the day, Dan Crowley going deep, stretching this defense. This defense hasn't seen any balls thrown over 20 yards against them. They're sitting on their heels, always facing the quarterback. That's a nice job of Dan Crowley stretching the defense, throwing it deep, and a nice job of adjusting to the football by Jimmy Oliver, coming back and losing the coverage and making the catch. You can see right there, Omar Morgan, number 3, loses the receiver.
4 catches for Jimmy Oliver, 64 yards. That may put a little more pressure on the Saskatchewan defense as it gets stretched. And stretching out to make a catch is Damon Hodge. So Crowley's got them going as Hodge catches that in front of Ladafius McCalla.
And you always wonder why it is when some quarterback comes in, if it's a backup or a guy that used to start, he comes in and all of a sudden it seems like the team gets some life. We know for a fact that the team responds pretty well to Crowley. They like him. He's a guy that hangs out with the offensive line. He goes out, does a little partying with the guys. They seem to pick it up a notch, Chris, when he comes in.
Well, they did last week. They responded for a scoring march of 69 yards. Crowley did some damage with his legs in that game. There's another ball that should have been caught. Nigel Williams is having a tough afternoon.
Well, Nigel Williams, who comes into the game with only 6 catches, you see him tapping his helmet saying, let's get going. He is a good athlete. This is a good athlete.
This is a guy who had a 1,000-yard season.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you know, in 1998, he had 61 catches, but I tell you what, he's nowhere going to be near that if he keeps doing what he's doing right now. The pressure's there, but the ball is thrown right exactly where it has to be. Right to Nigel Williams on the run. He's got to squeeze that football.
Don't move! The only 2 incompletions Crowley has thrown have been just out-and-out drops. Lawrence Tynes attempting this from 36 yards out. And Tynes is good. So Crowley provides a spark. Tynes 3, and it's 16-4.
Back in Regina, the Roughriders with a 15-point lead in the 3rd quarter over the Renegades. The CFL on CBC heads east next Saturday at 3 Eastern. From the Sky Dome in Toronto, it's Damon Allen and the hot BC Lions against the Toronto Argonauts, coming off a big win last week over Hamilton, but facing first place Montreal tomorrow. Should be a good one, guys.
Yes, the Lions on fire. It'll be interesting to see Pinball Clements on the sidelines trying to keep the Argos' momentum after that Hamilton victory. Early movement, Elon Green looking downfield and overthrowing a wide open Corey Holmes.
Corey Holmes incomplete. There is a flag.
And let's see if Ottawa was drawn offside.
Well, they jumped. I mean, Ottawa jumped. Great job of changing the cadence by Elon Green.
Offside. Ottawa number 1. First time repeated.
Kelly Wiltshire
Just going to bring the blitz. It's just going to be right in the bottom here. All he's going to do is jump the gun right there. You can see him and Marvin Thomas in the middle of your screen jumping. It's a nice job of changing the count. Little voice fluctuation. Draws him off, and I tell you what, Corey Holmes wide open as the defender falls down and just overthrown.
So it's 1st and 5 at the Saskatchewan 40. And there's Zarka driving close to a first down. John Grace with the tackle.
Now Chris Zarka, the load, the big man, all 240 pounds. Look at the leg drive. Just keeps on going right there. I mean, the offensive linemen love these guys because fullbacks are basically offensive linemen with a little bit more ability. That's all it is right there. And Chris Zarka, I tell you, you got to love a guy like this. Doesn't get to touch the rock a whole lot, but when he does, he sure makes things happen.
Everybody's got more ability than those offensive linemen, don't they?
Athletically, but I'm not sure about cerebrally.
First down carry by Holmes, who will spot Cedric Shaw during the course of a football game.
Well, they got Shaw who come right at you, and they got the dancer. Corey Holmes, quick feet, jitterbugs, finds the hole, puts the shoulder pads down. Nice job again of picking up 4 yards on first down.
Asbel and Grace met him after the gain of 4, so it is 2nd and 6. And again, flags fly, and this time it was early movement by the Roughriders. Looked like the left guard.
Procedure. Saskatchewan 64.
Sean
Still
Gifford.
2nd down.
Well, the left guard just anticipating the count. This is a no-no. You actually know the snap count. You shouldn't be doing it. I mean, obviously, you're just going to jump up there a little bit. Pretty tough to tell from that replay, but obviously the referees are on the field. Better angle. A lot of times it's just even the raising or lowering of your hips.
So it's 2nd and 11. Back at the 44. Green delivering the ball incomplete. Look for Derek Armstrong with some heat being applied from John Frank.
Well, John Frank getting the second start. They rotate. They got a good defensive line in Ottawa, and they really like this guy. They made a nice comparison to yesterday to saying he was like a Joe Fleming. I don't think you get a better compliment than that. The guy that keeps coming, doesn't take a play off. Little buzzsaw, little Tasmanian devil.
The kind of guy that Joe Paopao said would give a guy like Chris Walby a headache by the end of an afternoon, because the motor's always running. There's a booming punt knocked down by Turner, who picks it up, and he's nailed immediately by Darnell Edwards at the 15. A 51-yard punt by McCallum. A 12-point Saskatchewan lead.
16-4 for Saskatchewan here in the third quarter at Taylor Field in Regina. You know, bobbleheads are all the rage in the CFL, and Saskatchewan has its own. This is Bobby, the bobblehead, and the Catch for Kids Foundation here in Saskatchewan is selling 5,000 of these to raise money for the Kids Sport program, which provides sport for kids from families that can't quite afford it. You know, this is a community-run football team, and a good example here of this team putting something back into the community. Guys?
This last week it was Gizmo Williams. I believe next week in Toronto it'll be Mike Clements bobblehead day, and can the Chris Walby bobblehead day be far away?
They don't have enough plaster of Paris to make those things, I tell you what. Plus the people couldn't take them home. You have to put them on top of your car.
Jimmy Oliver got his hands on that, but unable to reel it in. You can see Dan Crowley made some positive strides on that first drive of the second half, and now facing a tough 2nd and 10 deep in his own zone, and he throws a pick. Davin Bush with the ball, and Davin Bush into the end zone, touchdown. They're going to mark it at the 2. He stepped out at the 2, but the Roughriders are in business on the 20-yard interception return.
A nice job, Chris. I mean, basically, they're going to bring the blitz, and here's the blitz right here and here. They're bringing the 2 linebackers. They don't have enough guys to pick him up. As a result, he's got to throw the football. He throws it quickly, gets rid of it before that he wants to. Davin Bush, number 31, reads it all the way, steps in front of the intended receiver, gets down and pushed out. Foot goes out of bounds at the 2-yard line.
Now Bush did a nice job last week replacing Omar Evans. Comes up with a big pick here, and now Saskatchewan trying to push it through. Zarka close, but held back by John Frank in that pile.
What's up, Ma?
It's one of the big improvements here in Saskatchewan. Guys like Davin Bush have been here since the start of the year. They've been through the training camp, and this team has depth when they do have injuries.
Well, that's the thing. They step in, they don't miss a beat. You can see Chris Zarka last play. We talked about the fact that this is a don't-say-die defense by the Renegades. They just do a nice job lining as many guys as they can between the 2 tackle boxes.
Second and goal from the 1. Zarka again, and Zarka's in. Touchdown, Saskatchewan.
Now Zarka with his 4th touchdown. And you know what? Initially, good job by the Ottawa defense getting underneath, but the legs keep driving. Nice job, Mikowski coming over to the left side, usually a right tackle coming over to the left side, keeps the legs driving. That allows a seam, and that allows Chris Zarka to take advantage of it and fall into the end zone for a touchdown. Nice job by the big O-line.
Kelly Wiltshire nicked on the last play. So 4:40 left in the 3rd quarter. It's now 22-4, an 18-point lead. Looks like Danny Barrett's considering going for 2 and expanding it to a 20-point advantage. And the fans like that.
Well, he's yelling because the center, that's the guy who needs to snap the football. They're missing the center, Andrew Moore, and I tell you what, they're going to have a hard time getting that ball up to the quarterback. See big 57 getting in there. He got a little excited after the touchdown, went over there and did some high-fiving, some hand slapping, and forgot he has to stay on the field for 2 points.
Let's see if they can push it in. There's all kinds of movement there, and it looked like Gene Mikowski jumped.
Illegal procedure. Saskatchewan 60.
Well, good eyes, Chris, and that just shows you what happens. A penalty disrupts the whole continuity of running the play. They're so worried about getting the center into the formation, snap the football, that they all forget about the snap count. Everybody becomes rushed.
So they'll have to do it from the 10. Green on a roll, hot pursuit, and the pass incomplete. Nice job by Jason Kralt to disrupt the play and apply the heat on Nealon Green.
Well, the heat's the key word, and what they do is they bring everybody. Everybody's coming. Grace is coming. They're bringing Alfonso Roundtree. Jason Krause coming from the middle. Nice job of, as you say, speed to the sideline, staying with a very elusive Nealon Green, hitting that throwing arm, knocking that ball down, incomplete.
Mark?
Chris, a reminder to football fans across the country that there are still tickets available for this year's Grey Cup in Edmonton, November 24th. Call that number on the bottom of the screen as the Eskimos, who lead the West Division right now, looking to become the first team to host the Grey Cup since the BC Lions in 1994.
And those tickets are going quickly. Understand over 46,000 have already been purchased.
Well, I think we're in for another great Cup if the season is any indication. Remember last year, what a wonderful show Montreal put on.
Don't think there's any doubt about a sellout at Commonwealth. The Eskimos will be playing Hamilton tomorrow, Toronto and Montreal, as the division leaders will be in action tomorrow afternoon. Here's Archie Turner. Up to the 35-yard line. Well, turnover. The last time Ottawa had the ball set up the touchdown for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Nice job of Davin Bush leading the quarterback. And Crowley stepping in front of the intended receiver and taking it. And boy, finished up with a big bruising back. Chris Sarka on a second attempt on the 1-yard line.
As well as that Saskatchewan defense has played this year, they haven't had a lot of turnovers. Low sack totals. That's just the 10th interception of the year. And here's Josh Ronick, hauled down by Shante Peoples. And Chris, interceptions have been a problem for Dan Crowley. It cost him the starting job in the first place. His 14th interception on the season.
He's in a situation right now where he's just trying to make things happen. And sometimes when you get the pressure, and that was a great pressure defense Saskatchewan threw at him, forced him to throw that football quickly, a little quicker than he intended. As a result, it went the other way.
5 yards for Josh Ronick. 2nd and 5 for the Renegades. Play doesn't get off. Dave Ewell.
Time count violation. Ottawa number 9.
So they'll march it back 5.
Well, instead of having a 2nd and 7, now you're at a 2nd and 10, so you're 2nd and long situation. One of the situations you don't like this offense, or any offense, to be in, especially Ottawa, the way they're performing today.
So passing situation, 2nd and 10. Crowley over the middle, and that's nearly picked off. Closest man was Nigel Williams in an Ottawa uniform.
They have a lot of problems figuring out what they're doing. They're not on the same page, because I tell you what, Aubrey Cummings is not sure the ball's for him. Nigel Williams is not sure the football's for him. Nobody's going after the football. They're all worried about making a mistake. Right now, there's that situation right now where nothing's working, and they're actually just having a hard time. And take a look at the failure to score this season. I mean, look at when they lose big.
The side of his foot and picked up at midfield by McCallum. Hauled down by Colt with a flag on the play to the no yards. Just a 20-yard punt for a frustrated Glenn Harper.
No yards. Ottawa 19. Penalties declined. First down.
Well, Danny Barrett's Saskatchewan offense can really go for the juggler now. 22-4, and they have the ball in Ottawa territory again.
And with the wind, you're basically, in the way Paul McCallum has kicked field goals, with the wind, you're basically in a scoring position already.
First down, and Green looks outside. That ball over the head of the intended receiver with Jordan McCullough.
Derek Armstrong.
Covering Derek Armstrong.
Trying to throw it wide out cross field to Derek Armstrong, who's working against George McCullough, who's done a really nice job today defending the receiver. It's his third option. He looks downfield in the middle. Nothing's there. Good job by the secondary covering the intended receiver. Nealon decides to try on his third look to go to the far side, but nothing doing.
136 yards for Green, who has not had a 300-yard passing game this season. He'll call the quarterback draw, met by Wiltshire before he could get to the first down stick. Gain of close to 7.
Well, totally designed play. Just take one step back and go through the hole. Tuck it and go. You see Kelly Wiltshire getting away from the referee, who tries to throw a block. Does a nice job coming in there. Donovan Carter, the safety, over there to reassure. Make the fact that he's down.
And so Paul McCallum will come in to attempt his 4th field goal of the afternoon. And this will be from 45 yards out. Has tamed the win today. He's 4 for 4. Just over a minute to go in the third quarter, and it's a 3-touchdown lead for Saskatchewan. Crowley, Nigel Williams has a catch at the 41.
Williams covering on the play was Travis Smith.
Well, nice job of Nigel actually looking this ball in this time. Making the catch in the middle where he knows he's going to get contact. As soon as he makes that ball, the middle linebacker, Travis Smith, is all over him. But I think if you're Nigel Williams, you're just happy that you actually put your paws on one and caught it. One to build on for Nigel Williams.
2nd and 5 for the Renegades. Crowley steps up, and down he goes. Ray Jacobs' flag comes down, and did Jacobs get a piece of the face mask?
Well, I think that's what they're going to call, Chris. I think it's a fact. Nice job.
Major foul, face mask, Saskatchewan 50. First down.
Ray Jacobs does a nice job of working against the tackle. Coming off. Just going to fall off. Dan Crowley has nothing downfield, but you can see right there the left hand comes right in and grabs Dan Crowley and bringing him down to the ground, and the referee throwing the flag right there. So 15 yards later, nice field position for the Ottawa Renegades.
Up near midfield. First down, Ottawa. Roddick, the lone setback, takes the handoff. Big hole. Josh Roddick inside the 40-yard line. Just the 5th rush of the day for the Renegades, and it's a 16-yard gain on the final play of the third quarter. Ryan Roberson, a touchdown early in this second half, and it's a big Saskatchewan lead. Before we start this fourth quarter, Danny Barrett has a chance, along with Ron Estee, to have a little defensive meeting. And Gang Green goes back to their positions. 15 minutes of football left. Renegades in a huge hole, but with possession of the football in Saskatchewan territory.
And basically just talking to the guys to say, hey, listen, we got 15 minutes left. It's not relaxed. What happens a lot of times is when your team is winning by a good amount, you tend to relax a little bit. And then big plays come against you, and you need that to shock you back and say, you know what? We've got another quarter of football to play. We don't want to have anything happen to give any momentum or life to this Ottawa offense.
First down, Crowley going to air it out. Downfield, Damon Hodge, touchdown! Dan Crowley to the newcomer, Damon Hodge, a 39-yard touchdown strike.
Well, I'll tell you what. Dan Crowley threaded the needle. What a beautiful throw from the quarterback, right between double coverage to Damon Hodge. Beautiful job. Set his feet. Look at that throw. On the money, right between the defenders. He's inside of one and outside of the other, working against Omar Morgan. Does a nice job of getting to the inside of the football field. And the defender, the cornerback, Omar Morgan, loses it to the inside, which is a no-no for the cornerback, but a nice throw by Dan Crowley. And we just talked about Danny Barrett talking to his defense, saying, hey, don't relax. Well, I'll tell you what, we got us a game right now. We're just going to bring everybody. And nice job, good protection by the offensive line. They're dropping the linebackers. It just sits there. Nice job of seeing the lane, the throwing lane. Gets behind the safety, Jason Mallett, inside the cornerback, Omar Morgan. And you can see right there, Dan Crowley pointing at the bench. Hey, there you go. I'll get it done. You know he's a competitor, Chris.
I'm in charge.
I'm in charge. And that's the thing. I like that. I like that at a quarterback.
No, I was saying I'm in charge.
Oh, I know that, too. I've seen your check.
10th touchdown pass of the season for Crowley. Hodge's first CFL touchdown.
Well, nice job. And that's exactly what they need. A nice long gain like that. And actually catching the football.
You know, it's funny,
confidence.
You mentioned a big lead. Sometimes you can relax. I thought that happened to BC last night, and all of a sudden Winnipeg scores a touchdown. They're thinking about a 2-point convert to get them within 8 when it looked like BC had it in complete control, and as it turned out, they win by 10, but you can't relax.
Well, you know what? It's the old cliche. Got to play for 60 minutes. How many times do you see a guy say, well, we got to play out there. We got 4 quarters. Well, you got to win every 4 quarters. You got to play every quarter, put them all together. You lose one of them, and especially if it's the 4th, it could cost you the football game.
And remember, Ottawa does have the wind in this fourth quarter, and that ball goes through. And they'll bring it out to the 25 on another 95-yard kickoff with the win.
Oh, you know, you're only down 2 converted touchdowns. And we talked about the offense. That's a big shot in the arm for the offense. But it also spreads out to the rest of the team. You see the Ottawa defense. Hey, they got something to play for now. They come out with a little bit of jump in their step, say, you know what? Let's get the offense the ball back now. We just saw something positive. It's amazing how something like that will spark the entire team.
So now it's the job of Nealon Green to eat up some clock with a few first downs.
Well, I tell you, Saskatchewan come down and score a touchdown right now or put some points on what it really will take some of the momentum away from the Ottawa Renegades.
First down carry by Cedric Shaw, and you can see that Renegade defense is fired up. John Grace in the middle of it as usual.
Well, when you're down by 3 touchdowns into the fourth quarter, you're thinking, you know what? A lot of guys are looking up and going, oh boy, it's a long day. But all of a sudden the offense starts doing things. Now you got a little jump in your step. Look at that Phil. There you go, guys. There's Wiltshire again, getting down and dirty. His partner in crime, John Grace. Now it's the big play. You put him in a second and long situation, Chris. Here's where they got to stop. Step up and answer the bell.
Couple for Shaw, 2nd and 8. And a big play for the Renegade defense here. Nealon Green looks downfield, and there's a big reception by Derek Armstrong.
I'll tell you what, Ottawa tries to play a little game here. What they do is they rush 3 guys. They drop everybody else. Armstrong's just going to work against McCullough, who's done a nice job all day. But look at that. He turns and makes him get back, set his feet, and comes back to the football. That is a nice job of running the pattern by the receiver, and you can see Nealon Green signaling first down. The drive is alive, and they've moved the ball out of their end.
First catch for Armstrong, who had only 1 catch against Ottawa in the CFL opener. Green options, keeps it, and just gets down in the nick of time. Donovan Carter was headhunting. Keaton Cromartie tripped.
Donovan Carter was up, and again, nice job by Keaton Cromartie coming down the line of scrimmage because they want to run the option. It's going to come right into your living room right here. Here he is. He's going to pitch it. He's looking for something. 56 all the way down. That's a nice job of staying with it and tracking it. Right from the top of your screen. Follow it. Nothing coming away. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Does a nice job there. They take away the pitch. Nice job on 91. John Frank coming to the outside, taking away that as well.
Saskatchewan working against the wind, 2nd and 7. Trying to eat the clock in the fourth quarter. Nealon Green, Armstrong, and there's the flag. The whole Roughrider bench reacting before the flag comes down, and Ricky Bell's hot.
Well, this is going to be, we have to take a look at this as another flag comes on, thrown on the other side of the football field. And
forward pass interference. Ottawa number 25. First down.
You know, Joe Pau talked about taking penalties at inopportune times. Last week, you're going to see an objectionable conduct now. This is losing your composure. This is unacceptable. You know what? You can't change the call. Go back, huddle up, make the play next time. You know what? This is what I call a selfish penalty because it hurts your football team. You know what? You're not going to win the argument with the Zebras. Get back in your huddle, regroup. All this does is you just give life, and now you've given field position to the Roughriders.
So the initial penalty.
Objectionable conduct. Ottawa 25.
The initial penalty gave them a first down, and now tack on 15 more.
You're in a game where you have a chance. You're only down 2 converted touchdowns.
And Ricky Bell is leaving the game, and Donnie Ruiz.
Well, you can't do that. That's unacceptable. And I told you, I call it selfish. It is selfish. This is a team game. There is no I in team. I hate to use that term, but you can't do that. I understand you're upset, but just regroup and go to the next play.
All the way down to the Ottawa 35. Sarka ran into a wall and may not have got back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, Troy Asbell, I tell you what, a great job from the middle linebacker position, 94, only 5'8", but I
I tell you what, plays like a man who was 6'7". He just comes right in there. Watch him stuff this. He gets Andrew Moore to center, stand up, rocks him back. He knocks the center into the running back. That's good defense right there.
Sean Gallant checks in as an extra DB. Second and 10. Green has a completion. Dylan Ching with the catch. Will be short of a first down.
This is something, every time they do a great job on first down. They stuff the run, they stop the play.
Good catch.
Every time they go to second down, they're only going to rush 3. They bring the 3 defensive linemen, they're going into a zone coverage, and then they get beat. Now, I tell you what, if you're going to drop 9, you got to cover it better than that. I mean, the whole purpose, if you're not going to put pressure on the quarterback, is to hopefully take away the receivers. Right now, Nealon is having a day back there because he's not getting any pressure, and the receivers are getting away in separation from the cover, making catches and keep their drives going.
McCallum attempting his 5th field goal of the day from 35 yards out. And what a day it's been for Paul McCallum. Number 4 has 5. And it's a 17-point Saskatchewan lead.
Well, 17 points, and you know, it really shouldn't have been that way. I mean, obviously, you know, I can understand Ricky Bell having to shake off that pass interference call, but boy, I tell you what, when you take those penalties, they really, they cause the coach to grade a whole lot earlier than he normally would.
17 points is the lead for Saskatchewan. Key 3 points for the Roughriders to answer the touchdown by Ottawa.
Well, that's what they had to do. They had to, you know, hold them, and they unfortunately got a pass interference call, lost their heads, took another objectionable conduct, and I mean 35 yards on penalties allowed McCallum to come and kick another field goal, his 5th of the day, and basically 17 points as opposed to 14.
Richie Turner drops the ball, and now he's circled. Terrence Milton was first down, and he tosses him to the turf. Good downfield hustle by the reserve linebacker. Paul McCallum has moved ahead of Larry Robinson. 15th now on the all-time scoring list of the Canadian Football League, and Saskatchewan fans will remember Larry Robinson for kicking a huge field goal in inclement conditions here in a Western final many years ago.
Mom and Dad back in Vancouver, how you doing? Hi, Rob in Montreal.
And you know, I know you don't like kickers getting special teams honors, but McCallum's going to have to be considered. Here's Crowley to Demon Hodge. Back-to-back completions from Crowley to Hodge to get things started on this Ottawa drive.
You know what? One of the things is a nice job of Hodge finding a hole in the zone. Nice job of delivering by Crowley. But going back to the kickers, you're right. A lot of times kickers, they're paid to kick field goals. And so I see a guy who kicks 4 out of 5 field goals or 5 out of 5, all inside the 30. That's money in the bank. I don't believe in giving them the Special Team of the Week award. But I tell you what, McCallum, 56-yarder, 52-yarder, wind blowing in all directions. Boy, he's earned it this week.
Look at this burst by Josh Ronick. Fumbled the ball. Loose. Saskatchewan on it. Oh, Josh Ronick, who's been plagued by fumbles lately, had the biggest run of the day for Ottawa, and then gives it back.
Well, this is the thing that's plagued this young guy. That's his 6th fumble of the year and the 5th fumble that he's lost. I mean, he's done great things, but he just can't hold on to the football sometimes.
Big stick by the University of Manitoba product, Darnell Edwards.
Wonderful job of coming up there and making the play. I mean, initially Walker wrapping him up. He's going to come across now after the big game. He wraps him up at number 11 with the shoulder pad right in the football. Now what? There's 85. Now that is Jimmy Oliver. He's got the best chance at the football. Now, hey, don't pick it up. Jump on it.
Play doesn't get off, and Rob Lazio may have moved early. But Josh Ronick's fumbles continue to be a puzzle.
Illegal procedure. Saskatchewan 66. Still first down.
Oh, you talk to Josh Ronick. He says, I don't have a history of putting the ball on the ground.
Over 1,000 carries in college, 8 fumbles, and there's 6 already.
6, and he's lost 5. I mean, that's not a great ratio either. It's very frustrating for the young man from South Dakota State who really takes it hard. I mean, he does a nice run. He does everything right except secure the ball at the end. But hey, an equally impressive hit by Darnell Edwards to jar the ball loose.
1st and 15. Shaw on the draw play, tripped up, and a flag comes down. Check that. Corey Holmes was the runner.
Well, they alternate all those backs. Shaw, Holmes, the speedster Holmes, who can do it on punt returns, kickoff returns. As we see the holding penalty going against Saskatchewan. He's got some speed, number 19
holding.
does.
Saskatchewan 57.
You know what, I tell you what, an offensive lineman's worst nightmare is getting your name repeatedly. What number was that? Said during the broadcast. I tell you what, we've talked about Andrew Moore a number of times, a couple holding penalties. I think that's his 3rd holding penalty of the game.
Danny Barrett told us yesterday, really happy with Moore, who replaced Jeremy O'Day, who could be back next week, but Moore's been playing on a bad wheel. And that offensive line's done a good job, but he's had a few problems with penalties today. Here's Nealon Green, weaving his way up to the 50.
Well, I'll tell you what, we talk about him, we say Andrew Moore, you only get a penalty, that's the only time we mention you. He does a nice job opening the hole, great job of blocking 99 Jerome Haywood, and that allows, you can see him right there, that knocks him down, and that allows Nealon Green to get the opening. So, just want to let you know, Andrew, we're going to talk about you when you do good things too. See what they've done today.
Not overwhelming numbers.
Still 113 total. They mix it up.
Number 1 run team, averaging over 150 per game. Green, and there's a flag. Ricky Bell and Armstrong were pushing each other when the ball sailed by.
Well, and Ricky Bell and Armstrong were not even, Armstrong wasn't even the intended receiver. He was going deep down the field to Roberson. I mean, I think Ricky Bell right now is just losing the composure.
Forward pass interference. Ottawa 25. 1st down.
It's been a long second half for the former Calgary Stampeder. And he wanted to atone for last week. Again, he was burned on the winning touchdown in overtime.
This is the hardest thing, Crystal. You got to actually flush it, for lack of a better word, out of your mind. Look, he's talking to the referees. He's not even worried about the receiver right now. You got to stay in the game right now. Just do your job.
1st down, Holmes with the carry.
I mean, he's going to walk over to the referee again and have another chat with him. I mean, what's going on? I mean, look, am I playing him wrong? And the referee, you can see, paying him no mind. There's no eye contact there.
And if you're Danny Barrett, do you go right back to that side?
Oh, absolutely, because right now you've got Ricky Bell playing on his heels. He's unsure. He's already thinking about, boy, films tomorrow. What a nightmare. Just get me through tomorrow. I don't want to watch the film. Coach is going to be all over me. Come right out.
He's got to worry about Rocky Henry this time. Green kept it himself and plunges for the 1st down to the 35.
Well, they have so many weapons, and I tell you what, when you have a mobile quarterback like Nealon Green, you know, you take away the initial run hole, he just can carry the ball himself and make something positive out of something negative. This is what a running or mobile quarterback will give you. Little play-action pass. Now, see, that's a nice job of Morrow. 92, he's right there. He wanted to roll out. He was going to be a naked bootleg. He was going to try and get to the sideline. It was taken away by 92 in Ottawa. But he still picks up a 1st down.
Saskatchewan driving. Chewing time off the clock. Cedric Shaw. Big stick by Donovan Carter. Carter might have got the worst of that.
I think he took the worst of that. He was up high, and I think he caught the shoulder pad. Cedric Shaw went lower, and you can see him right there, that arm. See, there's Shaw now. He knows. He says, hey, you bring it on. It's a game. And they love this. They love the chattering, because what the people can't hear at home is there's always talk between these guys. Every time they get tackled, they're yapping at the defender. Now watch him lower. See how he lowered that shoulder? What happened was Donovan Carter is standing straight up. He's got to get down. Now look at this. He's prone. Look at the way 25 gets underneath him. You rip him with that shoulder pad, that strength, you're going to hurt. I tell you what, Donovan Carter, as good a sticker as you are, you're not going to win many of those battles.
Sean Gallant is in for Carter, 2nd and 6. Back to Cedric Shaw. And this time he gets the worst of it. Running into Marvin Thomas and company, and there's a late
this is and it's coming from a guy that I'm really surprised. John Grace is in the middle of that. I mean, he's played outstanding all year.
Unnecessary roughness. Ottawa number 7. First down.
This is uncharacteristic of his game. He's doing so much for this defense. But again, Chris, it's just a situation of this defense being on the field too long. Now look, so he gets him down there and just throws him down. You know, I think sometimes that's not serious. He's right there. They're frustrated. He's not hurting him. He's not dragging him over coals with a naked behind. You know what I mean? This is football. They got gear on there.
I got a problem with that.
I think sometimes you got to remember, I know they're there to protect the athlete, but they are wearing gear, and it is a contact sport.
73 yards of penalties for Ottawa in the second half. First and 10. Sarka upended after a short carry. And again, while Saskatchewan moves the football, the clock continues to roll.
Well, the clock rolls. You take the offense out of the game just when Dan Crowley was starting to get some spark. But, I mean, I'll tell you what's happening right here. Saskatchewan's having fun on offense. They're having fun. And as long as you keep taking penalties and let us stay on the football field, hey, we're not foolish. We'll stay on the football field.
And they're playing conservative, safe football with the lead. 6 runs. And the drive extended by 3 penalties. 2nd and 7. Option. And this time he doesn't get it away. Wiltshire. And Elon Green at the last second thought there's no point in making that pitch with a 17-point lead.
And that's one of the maturity processes you've seen Elon Green grow. I mean, he does a nice job. This is a nice decision. Just an option play. The pitch isn't there. See that? There, right there is Cedric Shaw, but he can't give it to him, so he holds the ball. But, I mean, one of the things that you can't teach a quarterback, and that's that spider sense, knowing you're about to be hit and securing the football. He does a nice job of securing the football. And once again, Paul McCallum on the field. This try is 6th field goal.
Ching puts it down, and this one misses to the left. And it will go for a single point. So a blemish on what had been a perfect afternoon for Paul McCallum. And that is why.
Well,
bundled up, he's getting ready for the postseason.
He's got the hand warmer, he's got the jacket, and I mean, he's been hot on the football field, but he sure gets cold on the sideline. I almost wonder what's going to happen when we really get real fall weather.
Oh, the skill guys get a little cool.
Well, they just don't have the body fat that the big boys have. We're walking thermoses.
At the 35, Crowley back to work, and pitch pass, and Jimmy Oliver just about took off. Tripped up, however, by Omar Morgan. 8 yards the gain. And if there's a positive this afternoon, it's that Dan Crowley has started to move this offense.
Well, he really has. He's coming in, and I've really believed that he's thrown the ball efficiently, effectively, and right with some force. Play to your strip. Oh!
2nd and 2 and Roddick. Should have the first down.
Carries number 30, running.
A nice job of fighting for the extra 2 yards to get the first down and keep the chains moving. Crowley looking to the sidelines for the call. Send it in, send it in. They've only got 20 seconds. He wants to get it off. So
Doug Nussmeier firing those signals in. Under 3.5 minutes remaining. Crowley sprinting out. And that almost picked off. And Richie Jones and Crowley looking for a flag.
Well, I tell you what, they've thrown a couple on Ricky Bell. I know the first one, Ricky, was kind of suspect. He's just going to roll out right here and try and put it in the rope right there. And as you can see, he's bumped before. That is a pass interference. And that should have been a flag thrown against McCullough right there, because he definitely did interfere with the intended receiver.
And 2nd down to 10.
Dan Crowley's numbers, 9 of 16 in relief. 129 yards. He's thrown an interception and a touchdown pass. 2nd and 10, and that was almost interception number 2. Terrence Melton couldn't wait to get away with that one.
A little celebration by Melton right there as he plays off and reads the screen, and very fortunate not to go the other way with a touchdown as he celebrates with the dance.
Just a reminder tonight, Saving Private Ryan on CBC. Check your local listings for the time. And the time here, 2:59 remaining. It's 3rd and 10. And the Renegades will go for it. Looks like they drew Saskatchewan offside, and there is an interception picked off by Reggie Hunt. He's upended by Crowley, and they'll do the play over, I would suspect, as it looked like the Roughriders' Terrence Melton was offside.
Now there's a signal right there, Saskatchewan
Offside.
defense.
Saskatchewan 37.
Terrence Melton, who the play previous almost picked off an attempted screen. He's in the bottom of your screen, but there's movement at top as well. Shante Peoples, both ends. Suckered in by the changing of cadence by quarterback Dan Crowley.
So it'll be 3rd down over and 5 yards for the Renegades.
I think he's happy he didn't have to live with that play. He threw that right to Reggie Hunt.
Short drop and another knockdown and nearly picked off. Shante Peoples climbs the ladder again, and his defensive inmate, Ray Jacobs, almost cleaned up with the interception.
Shante Peoples, I mean, this is a knack. It really is, to understand what you're going to do, and he's just going to come across, just comes right up there, times the jump, gets it down, and his partner in crime, Ray Jacobs, is just going to jump, climb the ladder, like you say, Chris, knocks it up in the air, and it becomes a free-for-all. That's why you don't pay the defensive lineman to catch football. He's going to tell you, Ray Jacobs wishes he had another shot at that one.
And Peoples and Gang Green, when they came off, got quite an ovation from the fans at Taylor Field. And Rocky Butler, who was the Labor Day hero for Saskatchewan, on in relief as a flag flies on that give to Cedric Shaw.
Well, Rocky Butler, who came in and beat Winnipeg in the Labor Day Classic.
What's up, Mom? East side, baby. Represent.
Ran for 3 touchdowns. Shante Peoples celebrating right there.
What's up? He dropped it. He dropped it. Wobby, I told you, baby. Best in the league, baby. I told you, Wobby.
Yes, he was bending your ear.
Yes, he
Saskatchewan
was.
66. Penalties declined. 2nd down.
He came up to me and he was going, Chris, how do I get on that Warrior team? He said, I only got 1 sack, but they're not running my way. Quarterbacks are throwing the ball quicker every time I play. Well, we noticed you today, Shante. Not a bad day at the office.
The penalty declined. 2nd and 7. There's Rocky Butler, who ran for 3 touchdowns on that win over Winnipeg on Labor Day. And he's going to run with the ball now and pushed out of bounds. He made quite an impression on September 1st.
It's really hard for Winnipeg. In fact, they've never seen had any film on Rocky Butler, but just did an absolutely great job of finding the end zone on 3 separate occasions, running the football. Big reason for them upsetting Winnipeg. As I said, upsetting.
I did notice that.
Even though after this win, Saskatchewan will move ahead of Winnipeg in the standings.
It might be a pick'em game next week when they meet. In fact, they go back-to-back with the Blue Bombers, and that may go a long way to deciding one of the Western playoff spots.
We get shout out to my boys back in PA, John Doe, Jeff Black, Yonkers, back in 2nd for right now. 5 more games.
5 more, and they're tough ones. 2 against Winnipeg.
No yards.
A couple against BC, Edmonton, as you
1st down.
saw the final numbers for Green. It's been an efficient Nealon Green this year. He doesn't rack up those big stats that get you player of the week, but he's getting the job done. And
they're so successful because they're successful running the football. I mean, not only does he have big Zarka and Holmes and Cedric Shaw, but he can also hurt you on the ground as well. That's 4 dangers running the football.
1st and 10, Crowley. And another meeting there between Denny Montana and Jabir Walker, and that timing was impeccable by Walker.
That's a nice job of just finding the opening. Sits there. Crowley's going to get some protection. Throws the ball right there on a rope. It's in there. Has the ball. A little contact, as you say. Walker with the flipper. Crowley's looking for the call. They haven't gotten it, so second down.
Crowley guns that to Montana, complete near the 35. Walker on his back.
One of the things about Crowley, he's got a little bit more force in that football when he throws and delivers that football. He gets there a lot quicker, and I think anytime you're going to run timing routes with the receivers, you've got to have a quick release and have some power on that football. I think that gives him an edge over Clemens.
I don't think there's much doubt about who will start next week for Ottawa when they meet Hamilton. Crowley going to that far side. Reggie Jones took a couple of hits before he went down.
To Reggie Jones, number 87 for Renegades.
They haven't got the big play from Reggie Jones yet. They feel it's just a matter of time.
Well, that's a nice job of, first off, making the catch. A lot of contact.
Another quick hitter, Aubrey Cummings.
Number 5, Aubrey Cummings.
As Crowley's got the moving again.
Well, Saskatchewan just playing a soft zone right now, just sitting back, keeping everything in front of them. They know they've got the lead right now.
The 54-yard line.
They're going to get the little passes, get everything underneath to the Ottawa receivers.
No huddle, the one setback, and the hitch to Oliver, who couldn't bring it down.
Oliver, who takes a step toward the line of scrimmage to try and get the defender to back up, comes back, loses his balance. That's the reason this play goes incomplete, and he's very fortunate because Omar Morgan had designs in that football.
Those bookends for Saskatchewan, 50 and 58, are a presence, aren't they? Ray Jacobs, Shante Peoples.
Well, they've got a great defense. They come off the corners on both sides of the defensive line. Got a good secondary.
Crowley airing this out, and there were 3 defenders around the football intended for Jimmy Oliver, but Jason Mallett had the best shot at it.
We've seen Jason Mallett. That's the second one that he could have come up with, and if he keeps doing that, they may audition him as a receiver with Ottawa.
He's a former Carlton Raven, isn't he?
Well, that's 2, and I mean, that's obviously a tougher catch over the shoulder like that, but
back to the drawing board for Joe Pow. 3rd and 10. Crowley looking wide side. Reggie Jones with the catch, but he's going to be a yard short.
Now, one of the things about timing routes is the fact that you have to deliver the football as the receiver gets to where he has to be. If you throw the football underneath, what I mean is short of the first down, that's the upset part right there. See, he has to come back for that football, and as a result, he has to come up short of the first down. That's a play that should be stretched about 3 yards past that, and when you come down with it, you got a first down.
So they turn it over on downs. A frustrating afternoon for the former Rider Jones. 66 ticks on the clock as the Saskatchewan Roughriders will savor this win. Here's Simon Buffo, the University of Alberta product. This will be a little bit of a milestone for Danny Barrett, his 7th win. His best win total. He's not going to be content with 7 this year, but 5 2 years ago, 6 last year, and this Saskatchewan program's been building now for 3 years.
Well, that's the biggest thing. He says we're happy, but we're only taking it 1 game at a time. It's one piece of the puzzle. The whole big picture is in the playoffs. But he says if we get enough little pieces, we can build a pretty good picture.
Butler again to Buffo. Chews up some more yardage. Well, 1997, they went to the Grey Cup, and then it was downhill for 3 years. Little 2001, 2002, a winning record.
Also remember, that's 7 wins and you still have 5 games to go. That's the big thing right there. Obviously, we're giving them the win right now. More importantly, it puts them in second place. And that's the biggest thing. We talked about that earlier. I mean, first place and second place host a playoff game, and that's what you want. You want the opportunity, especially if you're Saskatchewan with the home record. It's now 6-1. That's something. There's obviously some sort of karma in the way you play at home.
You heard Eddie Davis say second place. That's on their minds today, and it's their goal for the season. To get the playoff as the ticks down. And they'll do it one more time. Saskatchewan will even their record against the East at 4-4-0-1, 6-1 on home turf, and back-to-back with Winnipeg coming up.
Well, I tell you what, you got to give a lot of credit to that offensive line. Missing, obviously, Andrew Green and Jeremy O'Day. The guys in there doing a good job, Chris, and especially when you want to run the football as well as they did today.
And the Renegades lose their 11th in 14 starts. Elon Green, an efficient day, and a 29-11 win.
Pennsylvania, John